The rain hammered against the cracked glass of the bus shelter like bullets from heaven, each drop carrying the weight of Sarah's shattered dreams. She pulled her worn jacket tighter around her 5-year-old daughter Emma, who shivered despite the threadbare blanket wrapped around her small frame. The bus was 40 minutes late, and Sarah's heart pounded with the familiar panic that had become her constant companion since losing her job 3 weeks ago. Tomorrow, the eviction notice would expire. Tomorrow, they would have nowhere to go. "Mommy, I'm hungry," Emma whispered, her voice barely audible over the storm. Sarah's throat constricted as she reached into her purse, fingers finding only $17.32, all that stood between them and complete destitution. She had already sold everything of value, pawned her grandmother's wedding ring, and swallowed her pride to ask for help from relatives who had long since written her offers of failure. The sandwich she'd packed for Emma's lunch tomorrow suddenly felt like a feast she couldn't afford. "I know, sweetheart. We'll get something warm soon," she lied, the words tasting bitter on her tongue. That's when the sleek black Tesla pulled up to the curb, its silent approach almost ghost-like in the downpour. Through the rain-streaked window, Sarah glimpsed expensive leather seats and the glow of a dashboard that probably cost more than her monthly rent. She instinctively pulled Emma closer, expecting the car to speed away once the driver realized this wasn't the kind of neighborhood where people like him belonged. Instead, the window rolled down. "Excuse me," called a man's voice, warm and concerned. "Are you waiting for the bus?" Sarah hesitated, every instinct screaming danger. She'd heard the stories, seen the news reports. Rich men didn't stop for struggling single mothers out of kindness. But when she looked into his eyes, kind eyes framed by worry lines that spoke of genuine concern, something inside her chest loosened slightly. "Yes," she managed, her voice hoarse from crying earlier. "It's running late." The man glanced at his expensive watch, then back at them. "In this weather, with a child? That's not right." He paused, seeming to weigh his words carefully. "Look, I know this might sound strange, but you're coming with me. Let me give you a ride." Sarah's grip on Emma tightened. "I appreciate the offer, but we don't know you, and I can't." "My name is David Chen," he interrupted gently. "I run Chen Industries downtown. I have a daughter about her age." He nodded toward Emma, who was studying him with curious eyes. "I promise you, I only want to help. No one should be out in this storm." Something in his tone, the way he mentioned his own daughter, made Sarah's defenses crack slightly. But fear still coursed through her veins. "I don't know." David seemed to sense her hesitation. He pulled out his phone and showed her his screen, a photo of him with a little girl at what looked like a school event. "That's my daughter Lily, she's 6. If someone saw her and her mother stranded like this, I'd hope they'd stop to help." Emma tugged on Sarah's sleeve. "Mommy, he seems nice. And I'm really cold." The simple trust in her daughter's voice broke something inside Sarah. She looked at this stranger, this David Chen with his kind eyes and expensive car, and made a decision that went against every safety rule she'd ever learned. But desperation had a way of rewriting the rules. "Okay," she whispered, "just to wherever we need to go." As they settled into the warm car, David handed Emma a small packet of crackers from his console. "Emergency snacks," he explained with a smile. "Lily insists I keep them for long car rides." "Where can I drop you?" he asked as he pulled away from the curb. Sarah's face burned with shame. She couldn't tell this successful businessman that they were homeless, that she'd been planning to spend the night at the 24-hour laundromat with Emma because it was the only warm place that wouldn't ask questions. "Just downtown is fine," she mumbled. But David wasn't fooled. 20 years of running a business had taught him to read people, and everything about this woman screamed crisis. The way she clutched that thin purse, the careful way she spoke to avoid revealing too much, The fact that she had no specific destination at all painted a picture he recognized from his own childhood memories of poverty. "Have you eaten today?" he asked suddenly. Sarah's silence was answer enough. Instead of heading downtown, David found himself driving toward his favorite family restaurant. "I was just thinking," he said casually, "I haven't had dinner yet. And eating alone isn't much fun. Would you mind joining me? Emma looks like she might enjoy their mac and cheese." At the mention of mac and cheese, Emma perked up. "Can we, Mommy?" "Please." Sarah wanted to refuse, wanted to maintain what little dignity she had left, but the hollow ache in her stomach and the hope in her daughter's eyes made the decision for her. Just for a little while, she agreed quietly. The restaurant was warm and bright, filled with the comfortable chatter of families enjoying their evening meals. David ordered enough food for a small army, claiming he always overordered when he was hungry. As Emma devoured her mac and cheese with the desperation of someone who hadn't eaten a proper meal in days, Sarah found herself opening up to this strange, generous man. She told him about losing her job when the company downsized, about the medical bills from Emma's bout with pneumonia that had drained her savings, about the eviction notice and the growing stack of unpaid bills. With each confession, she expected to see judgment in his eyes, but instead found only compassion. "I grew up poor," David said quietly, watching Emma color on her kids' menu with crayons the waitress had brought. "Single mother, government assistance, the whole thing. I know what it's like to go to bed hungry, to wear the same clothes to school because they're the only ones you have. I swore when I made it out that I'd never forget where I came from." He pulled out his phone and made a call. "Jennifer?" "Yes. I know it's late. I need you to contact Harbor House at the transitional housing program we support. I'm sending someone over who needs immediate placement tonight." He glanced at Sarah, who was staring at him in shock. "And first thing tomorrow, call HR. We have an opening in our customer service department. Entry level but with full benefits." "Yes, I'll explain later." Sarah's hands began to shake. I can't accept charity. I have to find my own way." "This isn't charity," David said firmly. "This is one human being helping another. This is what we do when we have the power to change someone's life and we choose to use it." His voice softened. "My mother used to clean office buildings at night to put food on our table. She was too proud to ask for help, and we suffered for it." Don't let pride rob Emma of the childhood she deserves. Tears streamed down Sarah's face as the weight of months of stress and fear finally lifted from her shoulders. "Why?" she whispered. "Why would you do this for strangers?" David smiled, watching Emma show him her coloring with pride. "Because 20 years ago, a stranger saw potential in a poor kid from the wrong side of town and gave him a scholarship. Because my daughter sleeps safe and warm every night, and every child deserves the same. Because kindness isn't about what someone can do for you in return, it's about what you can do for them. Period. 3 months later, Sarah sat in her small but clean apartment, watching Emma play with toys they'd bought with Sarah's first paycheck from Chen Industries. The job had led to a promotion, the promotion to stability, and stability to hope. She'd insisted on paying back every cent David had spent that first night, but he'd redirected the money to the company's community outreach program. "Pay it forward instead," he'd said. "Help the next person who's standing in the rain." Sarah kept a photo on her desk, David, herself, and Emma at the company picnic, all of them laughing at something Emma had said. But her favorite memory was simpler, the moment in that restaurant when a stranger had looked at her not with pity or judgment, but with recognition. He'd seen himself in her struggle and chosen compassion over indifference. In a world that often felt cold and disconnected, David Chen had proven that humanity still existed, that success meant nothing if it wasn't shared, and that sometimes the most profound changes in our lives come not from grand gestures, but from simple moments when someone chooses to care. He'd given them more than shelter and employment. He'd given them back their future, one act of kindness at a time. And on rainy days, when Sarah passed bus stops and saw people huddled against the storm, she remembered what it felt like to be seen, to be helped, to be human. She kept emergency snacks in her car now, just like David, because kindness, she'd learned, was not a finite resource. The more you gave away, the more it multiplied, creating ripples that extended far beyond what the heart could measure.